A messy bedroom with old pillows, a worn-out duvet, and items scattered everywhere doesn't just make you feel tired, it also prevents you from truly relaxing. So how do you turn a chaotic space into an ideal place to unwind without spending too much time? Today, I'm sharing a brand new video, not just about cleaning my bedroom, but also refreshing my living space. First, I'll thoroughly clean the room, getting rid of things I no longer need. Then, I'll replace and redecorate a few items to create an entirely new space that's both functional and visually pleasing. If you want to change your bedroom space so that every morning you wake up feeling truly comfortable and energized, be sure to watch the whole video. I'll be sharing some really great tips throughout the process of cleaning and refreshing the space, and I'm sure you'll love them. Let's get started. Alright, so first things first, let me walk you through the exciting changes I'm making. Now, I'm not just going to clean the room and call it a day. This is a full refresh, starting with some of the key pieces in my bedroom. First, I'll be swapping out a few things that have seen better days. My old duvet and pillowcases have been with me for a while, so it's time for a fresh new set to bring in a bit of brightness. I'll also be replacing some of the throw pillows with new ones that add more texture and color to the room. Next, I'm going to update the lighting. I feel like a good lamp can completely change the vibe of the room. I've found a new one that gives off a warm, cozy glow, perfect for those evenings when I want to relax. Lastly, I'm going to bring in a couple of new decor pieces to finish off the look. A small plant, a new rug, maybe a piece of art or two. Just little touches that will make the room feel more alive and welcoming. All of these updates will create a space that's not only more functional but also visually refreshing, and I can't wait to share the results with you. But before we jump into making these changes, you know the drill, we've got to get the room cleaned up and organized first. So stay tuned because we're about to dive into some serious decluttering next. Before we jump into decluttering, here's a little sneak peek of what's coming up in the next video. We'll be diving into decluttering and clearing out the things that don't belong. I'll show you the essential items that everyone should get rid of to start fresh for the new year. It's the perfect time to declutter, clear the space, and set yourself up for a more organized, stress-free 2026. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Now let's get started with the cleaning process for today. Alright, let's start with the bed. Before we do any redecorating, we need to get everything cleaned up, so the first step is to properly make the bed without changing anything just yet. I'll start by removing everything from the bed, the pillows, the duvet, and the sheets, even though I'm not replacing them just yet. It's important to get rid of any dust or crumbs that may have built up. I'll give the pillowcases a good shake and fluff them up a bit. The same goes for the duvet. Just make sure there's no dust or dirt on the surface. Next, I'll vacuum the entire mattress. This is a step I don't always do, but it's really important to catch any dust or debris that might have accumulated over time. Sometimes it's the little things like this that can make the biggest difference in how clean a room feels. I'll also vacuum the edges of the bed frame to make sure everything is spotless, especially around the corners where dirt can hide. After vacuuming, I'll give the bed frame itself a wipe down. It's easy to forget about the bed frame, but dust can settle there too. I'll use a soft cloth with a bit of cleaning solution and gently wipe the frame and any other surfaces near the bed. Once the bed is fully cleaned, I'll smooth out the sheets and duvet, making sure everything is as neat as possible. Even though I'm not changing the bedding yet, a good thorough cleaning makes the space feel a lot fresher. Now that the bed is clean and tidy, the room already feels much more organized. Now let's move on to one of the areas that can easily get out of hand, the closet. Over time, things just start piling up in there, and before you know it, it's hard to find anything. So we're going to go through it and get everything organized, but without making any major changes just yet. First, I'll start by taking everything out of the closet. Yes, everything. This step is essential because it helps me see exactly what's in there, what I use, and what I no longer need. I'll make sure to lay everything out so I can go through it piece by piece. As I go through the clothes, I'll start by sorting them into 3 piles: keep, donate, and toss. The keep pile will be for anything I wear regularly or really love. The donate pile will be for gently used items that just aren't my style anymore. and the toss pile will be for anything that's worn out too small or just no longer usable. I'm not just talking about clothes here. I'll also check shoes, accessories, and any random items that have ended up in the closet, like bags or scarves. Once I've sorted everything, I'll start putting things back in an organized way. I'll fold the clothes that go on the shelves neatly, making sure to keep similar items together: shirts, sweaters, pants, etc. For anything that's hanging, I'll organize by category: dresses, jackets, blouses, just to make it easier to find what I need. I'll also take this time to organize any shoes or accessories in a way that makes them easy to access. I love using clear storage boxes for shoes so I can see what's inside without having to dig through a pile. If I have any accessories like hats or scarves, I'll make sure they're neatly arranged on the shelf or in a basket. Finally, I'll give the inside of the closet a quick wipe down, especially around the shelves and the bottom where dust tends to collect. A clean closet makes everything feel so much more organized, fresh, and the room feels a lot more spacious. Now that we've tackled the bed and the closet, it's time to move on to those tricky little areas in the room where dust and clutter tend to build up without us even realizing it. I'm talking about all the corners, shelves, and little nooks where things often get forgotten. Let's go through them one by one and get everything cleaned up properly. First up, let's start with the bookshelves. I know it seems like a small thing, but bookshelves can get surprisingly messy over time. Dust can easily gather between books, and before you know it, the shelf looks a lot dirtier than you'd like. So I'm going to pull all the books off the shelves and give each of them a quick wipe down. It's also a good opportunity to reorganize the books, especially if they've been piling up in a way that doesn't make much sense. I'll group them by category: fiction, non-fiction, and maybe even by color for a fun look. This is a great time to clear out any old magazines or books that I'm no longer reading or that are just taking up space. I'll also give the actual shelves a good dusting with a microfiber cloth and wipe down the edges. Next, we have the vanity or makeup table. This is another area where things tend to pile up quickly. Makeup, skincare products, and various tools can get scattered all over the surface. The first thing I'm going to do is take everything off the table. I want to get a clean slate so I can really get in and clean every corner. I'll sort through the items on the vanity, tossing out anything that's expired or that I don't use anymore. Trust me, cleaning out old makeup and skincare products is so satisfying. I'll organize the remaining items neatly by size or type, and I might even use a small tray or container to keep everything in place. Once the surface is clear, I'll wipe it down with a gentle cleaner to remove any residue or makeup stains. Then I'll clean the mirror with some glass cleaner to give it that nice streak-free shine. Now, let's move on to the nightstands. These little tables beside your bed can quickly accumulate clutter. Loose change, old receipts, books, and random items you've forgotten about. I'll empty everything off the nightstands and take inventory of what's there. Any items that don't belong will go straight into the trash or get put in their proper place. I'll use a cloth to wipe down the surface of the nightstands and make sure the drawers are organized as well. Sometimes things get thrown into drawers out of sight and we forget about them. I'll organize the contents into neat piles, getting rid of any unnecessary papers or random knickknacks that no longer serve a purpose. Don't forget about the corners and hidden spots. These are often the areas that are most neglected. Dust tends to accumulate in the corners of rooms behind furniture and under chairs or tables. I'll grab my vacuum and use the hose attachment to suck up dust and dirt from the corners of the room, especially behind the bed and in the space between furniture. It's amazing how much dust hides in these places. After that, I'll do a quick sweep around the baseboards with a microfiber cloth because they're another spot where dust tends to collect. Finally, I'll take a step back and check the room. I'll look around to see if there are any other little spots that need attention. Maybe it's the top of a dresser or a small table where things have been gathering. I'll quickly wipe those areas down and double-check for any dust that might have been missed. With all these small spaces cleaned up, the room already feels much fresher and more organized. Everything is so much more put together now, and I'm feeling great about the progress so far. Now that we've tackled all the hidden spots and cleaned every corner, we're ready to move on to the next step. All right, we're almost there. Now that the bed closet and all the little corners are clean, it's time to focus on the floor. Honestly, this is one of the most important steps because a clean floor can completely change the look and feel of a room. Plus, it's the area that collects the most dust, dirt, and sometimes even random stuff that falls from shelves or tables. So let's get it cleaned up properly before we move on to any decorating or redecorating. First, I'll start by clearing the floor of any items that are still lying around. This could be stray shoes, clothes, or anything else that's out of place. I'll gather everything and put it in a pile so I can take care of it later. Once everything is off the floor, we have a clear path to get to the cleaning. Next, I'll vacuum the entire room. I always make sure to vacuum under the bed and behind any furniture as well. These areas tend to collect a lot of dust, and it's easy to forget about them. Using the hose attachment, I'll get around the edges of the room and along the baseboards where dust tends to accumulate. Even if the rest of the room looks clean, the floor can still hold onto dirt and debris, especially in the corners. After vacuuming, it's time to mop the floor. I'll grab a microfiber mop and use a gentle cleaning solution to give the floor a nice shine. If you have hardwood or laminate floors like I do, it's important to use a cleaner that's safe for them. I'll make sure the mop isn't too wet, just damp enough to clean the surface without leaving streaks or excess moisture. I'll mop the entire room, moving from the farthest corner back toward the door so I don't accidentally walk on the freshly cleaned floor. I'll pay extra attention to any high-traffic areas, especially near the bed and closet where dirt tends to build up the most. A good mopping will make everything feel fresh and new, and the room will definitely look brighter once the floor is cleaned. Once the floor is dry, I'll do a quick check to make sure everything looks good. Sometimes you'll find spots you missed or areas that need a little more attention. I'll give those spots a quick wipe with a cloth to make sure they're spotless. With the floor now completely clean, the whole room feels so much fresher and more inviting. It's amazing how much of a difference a clean floor can make in a room. Now that everything is spotless, we're finally ready to move on to the fun part, decorating and making this space feel like home. Now that everything is spotless, we're finally ready to move on to the fun part, decorating and making this space feel like home. The goal is to create a cozy, inviting, and stylish bedroom where I can unwind after a long day. So let's dive into the changes I'm making to bring this room to life. First up, let's tackle the bed. The bed is the centerpiece of any bedroom, and changing the duvet and pillows is an easy way to completely refresh the look of the room. I've chosen a light, fresh color scheme. Think soft neutrals with pops of pastel. These colors will help the room feel airy and peaceful, perfect for creating a relaxing environment. The new duvet I'm using is soft to the touch, and I really wanted something that would feel luxurious without being too bold. I want the bed to be inviting, but not overwhelming. When it comes to pillows, I've picked a mix of fluffy and firm ones to make sure it's comfortable for both lounging and sleeping. The mix of textures and colors adds depth to the bed, making it the focal point of the room. Next, I'm adding plants and other small decor items to breathe life into the room. Plants are an easy way to add some natural beauty, and they're perfect for creating a calm and fresh atmosphere. I've decided to go with a couple of small indoor plants like succulents and a snake plant. These are easy to care for and look great anywhere. I'm placing one on the nightstand and another by the window to brighten up the space. In addition to the plants, I'm adding a few small decor pieces. Throw pillows in different textures and patterns are going to make the bed look even cozier. I've also got a framed print that I'm going to hang above the bed to bring in a bit of personality. A beautiful art print or wall hanging is a great way to inject some style into the room without overwhelming it. Now let's talk about rearranging the furniture. This is another trick that can make the room feel totally new without spending any money. I've decided to shift the bed slightly to the left to make the space feel more open. I'm also moving the nightstand closer to the bed so it's more accessible, and shifting the armchair closer to the window for a cozy reading nook. Next up, lighting plays such a huge role in setting the mood of a room, and it's something I've really thought about for this refresh. I'm swapping out the old table lamp on the nightstand for a newer lamp with a soft, warm glow. The new lamp has a neutral design, so it fits well with the room's updated aesthetic, but the most important part is the warm light it gives off. I love a cozy atmosphere, especially in the evenings, and this soft lighting will create just the right vibe for winding down. In addition to the new lamp, I'm also considering adding string lights or fairy lights around the window to bring some magic into the space. I love the idea of having a few twinkling lights in the evening to create a relaxing, calming environment. Lastly, I want to create a little relaxation corner in my room. I'm adding a few elements that will make this space perfect for reading, unwinding, or just taking a moment to relax. I've got a soft throw blanket that I'll drape over the armchair, and I'm adding a small candle on the nightstand for a touch of ambiance. A good scented candle can totally change the atmosphere in the room, and it's a great way to add a bit of luxury without spending much. I've chosen a calming lavender scent. It's perfect for helping me wind down at night. With all these changes in place, the room already feels so much more inviting. It's amazing how a few thoughtful updates like new bedding plants and rearranging the furniture can make a space feel like new. And I can't wait to spend time in this space every day. All right, we've reached the end of today's video, and I'm so happy with how the room turned out. It's amazing how a few changes, whether it's new bedding, some fresh plants, or just rearranging the furniture, can make such a big difference in how a space feels. I hope you're feeling inspired to give your own room a little refresh. Before I go, I want to give you a little sneak peek into the next video. If you've been feeling like your space is a bit cluttered and chaotic, you're definitely going to want to tune in. In the next video, I'll be walking you through a list of essential items that we all should consider clearing out as we head into the new year. It's the perfect time to declutter and create a cleaner, more organized living environment, and I can't wait to share the tips with you. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on new content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and happy organizing.